Hey guys, it's Kitty back with some more Reddit stories. Before we get started, I just wanted to say that I also have a Discord server you can join so you get notifications every time I upload, whether it's a Reddit video or something else. So let's get into it. Am I overreacting for waking up late for work? I started a new job almost 2 months ago and I love it. It's in a big company, my first formal job, after working in fast food for like 6 years. Anyways, I do have to wake up before 5 a.m. so I can get there at 6 when my shift starts. Today I woke up at 6:40. My boss had texted me at 6:30 asking if I was okay and if something had happened to me. Not sure how I missed my alarms. I didn't even go to bed late last night either. I'm so embarrassed and ashamed of myself. I'm usually not one to wake up late at all. It's happened very few times at my old job during my 3 years working there, but I also did a lot of double shifts back then, so I was always exhausted, but not now. Anyway, my husband told me to just tell my boss that I woke up late. I panicked, told him I couldn't just tell her that and that I'm too new to the company. He kept pressing me, so I came to the bathroom to think alone. At around 6:50, I ended up telling my boss that I had car issues on the highway and was waiting for the tow truck and asked if she would still like me to go in and that my husband could drive me there. She said no worries to just figure out the car situation. My husband is mad that I lied to my boss and mad that I don't want to show up to work even if I'm late. I literally can't go to work. I completely panicked. Embarrassment took me over and I feel so ashamed. I'd rather wait and start over tomorrow. If this was an actual emergency, I'd sure do my best to go, but I don't know. I texted her at pretty much 7 a.m., and it takes about 45 minutes to drive to work, so I'd get there 2 hours late. We're not hurting for money either, so me not going in today isn't going to make a difference in our finances. Anyway, I was in bed, and he asked me to go to the living room because he was mad at me and I was annoying him. I told him I was just laying in bed, not even moving at all, but sure. I said I already feel so ashamed for 1, waking up late, 2, missing work, and 3, lying to my boss, and that his attitude isn't helping at all. I know all of these 3 points were totally my choice though, and I could have chosen to just get ready and leave and be an adult and face my fears, but I didn't. I chose to cower up and stay home and lie. Now I feel even worse. I did what I did because I don't want to have such a bad impression on myself. Waking up late is such a bad thing in my opinion, and I don't want my boss to see me as irresponsible and dumb. I work really hard every day to do a good job and be seen in a good light. I don't want to lose my job at all. I like it a lot, it's a good company, and I like my coworkers. I'm so embarrassed by waking up late already, showing up to work and having to look at my boss knowing she knows I woke up late, lol. That would have eaten me alive. I'm an anxious person, by the way. Did I overreact when I woke up and realized I was late? Should I have just told her the truth and gone to work anyways? Okay, so to me, this sounds like definitely you should not have lied, obviously. Lying in any situation should never be the choice of action. Honesty is the best policy. Sometimes you have to deal with the repercussions of your actions, and obviously you didn't sleep in on purpose, so it's not like you had malicious intent to then lie about it. I understand that you panicked and you tried to choose the choice that would make it easier on you, but like you said, you just ended up feeling worse. I do agree with your husband that you should not have lied, and I can see why he's aggravated about that, because, you want to make sure that your partner is trustworthy, and when you see them actively lying about things that are important, you might be a little afraid, oh, well, what are they going to lie about in our relationship? But keeping his opinion aside, I feel like the having car troubles excuse is pretty basic. I feel like a lot of people probably use that when they have to miss work for some reason. So I almost wonder if your boss already assumes why you were late. Moving forward, you made yourself feel so bad about lying and everything. I think it'll encourage you in the future to own up to your mistakes if you do sleep in again. You've made it clear to us that it's an important job, and I think this experience will just help you remember a little bit more just how important it is, and if you do sleep in or something happens, then you'll be confident enough to own up to your mistakes, and if you do truly work hard and do truly care about the job like you said you did, then your manager and your bosses will be able to see that, and they'll know that no person is perfect, and I highly doubt that that company has had even one employee who never ever slept in or missed work for a random reason like that. I think if I were you, I just wouldn't have answered the text from the boss, and I would have gone into work immediately as soon as I could. And so when I get there, I can talk with the boss in person and address what happened, because getting a text from your employee that says, sorry, I slept in, is more likely to irritate the boss rather than if you go in person and they see the emotions on your face and they hear the strain in your voice. when you say that the job is important and that you're really panicking and felt awful because you had slept in. And if you continue to prove that you're not going to keep doing that in the future, then it shouldn't be that big of a deal to begin with. I just say in the future, set multiple alarms, several alarms. I do this all the time, and I don't have a super crazy deadline in the morning like you do, so can't go wrong with having multiple alarms. And in the future, you'll remember it's never worth it to lie, and you'll take the right way out, which is the truth and just coming into work late, because that's what the right thing would be to do. Okay, our next story is, am I overreacting for being hurt that my twin sister can't be happy for me? I have an identical twin sister. We're both 26 years old, female. We had a rather turbulent relationship growing up, but it settled in our 20s, and I would say we are each other's best friend. Very recently, I got engaged to my long-term partner on a breathtaking trip to Italy. That evening, we FaceTimed our relatives and friends to tell them the news, and this of course included my sister. I had the ring in the shot, so as soon as she answered the FaceTime, it was so obvious what the call was about. She blamed bad connection and said I was blurry, so she would move and call me back. She never called me back. 3 hours later, I got a text saying how happy she was for us, etc., but not asking any questions or for any pictures, and considering we called pretty much every day, that didn't feel great. When we arrived back from Italy, we organized a family dinner to celebrate. Of course, my sister was invited. My fiancé texted her as I was too nervous to her response. It took over 12 hours for her to respond, and her answer was, "Thanks for inviting me, but I won't be coming as I'm not in the right headspace right now." Now, I absolutely don't want to diminish her mental health. I've had my own struggles and wouldn't wish it upon anyone. But I can't help but feel extremely hurt. Considering the day before the dinner, she went to a car show with one of her friends that she said multiple times she really didn't want to go to. It feels like she specifically can't be happy for me. My fiancé says I should consider cutting her off, as her reaction was very similar when we had announced that we bought a house. It feels very extreme to cut her off, as I desperately want to have a healthy relationship with her. Am I asking too much to feel that she's genuinely happy for me? Well, first of all, congratulations on being engaged. That is huge. And second of all, no, you're not asking too much for your twin to be happy for you. I mean, being a sibling in the first place is a close and special bond, especially when you're a twin and you're so close and grew up doing everything together. She should be happy for you and so excited for you and be there to support you and celebrate with you. And I can understand maybe a little jealousy if she has not caught up with you in life. And when I say caught up, I mean she hasn't done some of the same things that you have done. And so, there's that comparison of you two being so similar and growing up together in the same age and everything. Of course, she might feel a little bit behind or a little bit sad because her achievements don't line up. She should be able to put you all's bond and your all's friendship above that jealousy and be there for you, because she should realize what's most important, and it just seems like she's really not doing that, and she's letting jealousy or the feeling of being lesser than get in her head more. I don't think you have anything to gain by cutting her off, like your fiance said. I think that's a pretty quick thing to jump to. It's not like it's gonna fix anything other than just make her more sad, and then of course you're gonna miss your sister. And even though she's not doing some of the things for you that you would like her to do and that she should do, I'm sure there's still other parts of your relationship that you wouldn't want to leave. And, I don't think it's worth cutting her off. Just try and focus more on the people who have been giving you positive responses, and maybe your sister will come around as time goes on, as she achieves more things in her life, and as she works through the jealousy issues or whatever it is in her mind that's causing her to react this way. I can imagine that she is happy for you. There's no way that she's not happy for you at all. I feel like that's just impossible when you're a twin and your sister, and you said that you all were each other's best friends. She's got to be happy for you. She's just not able to express that or make that clear because everything else in her head is just being a little bit louder than the happiness, if that makes sense. She also might just be a little bit afraid. You're getting engaged. That's a big change. She might not be able to see you as often or be as close to you as she was before, because obviously getting married is a huge change in life. And so maybe she's dealing with some of that, seeing that her sister and best friend is moving on to a different phase of life, and so maybe she's feeling left behind as well. I would say consider having a conversation with her and talking about all perspectives of things, both from her perspective and yours, and just have a heart-to-heart chat as girls together and see where you guys stand, and just listen into how she feels as well. Hopefully she'll be willing to have a good, meaningful conversation with you if you open that up and make it a safe space to talk and just see how that goes. The bottom line is, you're not overreacting for wanting her to be happy and express that for you. I just think it is going to require a little bit more effort and digging to figure out what's exactly going on and talking to her and just, being adults and having a heart-to-heart chat. Okay, so for our third story, we have Am I overacting? My girlfriend is just too dang nice to her own detriment. My girlfriend is one of those really generous people that would prioritize other people's needs before her own, or mine. I found it to be a really nice trait in the beginning, but I've noticed that it actually almost always bites her in the butt, and I gotta be the one picking up the pieces every time. She's quick to give people rides to where they need to go, quick to sink time and effort into researching things for people. She'd feel sorry for lonely people and make them cards and meet them at the park for dog walks. She would be quick to offer people the spare bedroom, helping new arrivals find accommodations and things of that nature. Most of the time, it's towards people she barely knows, acquaintances, and just people that would never return the favors if she was in a bind. But to be fair, most of those people never even ask, she just does it. Which brings us to the many times she felt burnt and betrayed by those same people, and some are clearly taking advantage of her, but she doesn't seem to see it like I do. I'm a lot more reserved and I have less patience for humans and definitely not as trusting as she is, and I've tried multiple times telling her to not open herself up to other people's problems, but of course then I come off as the bad grumpy guy. I have my reasons. A few years ago, before we were together, she was sexually assaulted by a person she gave a ride to. She barely knew him. I wanted to express that this is exactly why she shouldn't open herself up to just anybody, because these are the risks. But as it's a very sensitive topic for her, I just stayed quiet. It blew up yesterday when after a date night she decided she wanted to interact and help a random homeless man who quickly became aggressive. I intervened and found myself in the middle of a racially charged tirade. Then I told her she needed to cut that out and that she didn't need to be everybody's savior. Again, I'm seen as the bad guy. I just need to know if my train of thoughts are reasonable here or if I'm tripping. Okay, this is, first of all, a little, or quite concerning, not just a little concerning, for your girlfriend and for you, because in this most recent experience, you had to get in the middle of it. Her behavior is incredibly reckless, and while it might be driven by, kindness and wanting to help people, you can't just be recklessly open to everybody because sadly the world is a messed up place and not everybody is going to be nice. Especially considering when she's been on one of her little actions before and she got sexually assaulted. That's terrible. I'm really surprised that she's continuing to do these things for people after that happened. It's good that she has a heart that wants to help people because the world needs more people like that, but this isn't the way to do it. You've got to find a middle ground because as you guys have already seen, it's gonna come back to bite you sometimes, and you have to be careful of what you're choosing to do, especially as a woman. We're more in danger than man might be doing these things, and she can't just go blindly trusting everybody that she tries to help. She definitely needs to, put some thought into it before she helps, and there's other ways to help that aren't so hands-on, like if she's interested in helping the homeless, there's plenty of charities and things you can donate to, and even associations or even organizations you can go out with and like bring food to people and help them that way, not doing it by yourself. A situation that could quickly become dangerous. I don't know if she's just not thinking about the fact that things could be dangerous or if she knows it's a risk and she's just hoping for the best, but clearly that's not protecting her any, so I really don't know what's going on there. So there's a comment here that says, not overreacting. If she cannot comprehend the need for personal safety or do adequate threat assessment, there's not much you can do. Shut it down if she complains about being taken advantage of when all of this is under her control. Do not stay with her if she's interacting with an unsafe person in your presence. Tell her you cannot subject yourself to that level of obvious risk in the future, nor can you control her. It is the same as if she were driving at high speed in an unsafe manner with you as the passenger. It could cause you stress and could result in your injury or death, but it wouldn't be your fault. If she can't understand that you were just subject to a racially charged attack and it could have led to a more serious situation for the both of you, she's not a good girlfriend. I'd say that's a pretty good summary. I mean, you definitely need to have a conversation, and you said that the sexual assault that she went through before is a sensitive topic for her, and of course it is, but you might have to talk about that more and compare it to what she's doing now. She's putting herself in these dangerous situations. She could get herself into serious trouble, even with you around. You have to face the reality of the world and realize that you can't help everybody in the ways that you'd like to help because they're not all going to be good people and they will do bad things sometimes. It's impossible for every person you're trying to help to be good and innocent. You definitely need to have a conversation for her sake and for yours, talking about every aspect of it, past, present, and future, and why this can't continue happening for both of you. I would also mention to her the alternatives that I mentioned, like working with an organization to help out the homeless or whatever group of people she's wanting to help more. Something that's organized and watched over and has management and a system to keep people safe and be able to do things effectively without the danger and the risk. If you put those ideas in her mind, telling her, out of the kindness of her heart that she has, that you're grateful for and that you admire. You want her to be able to exercise that in a safe and healthy way for her sake and for yours. If you want, you could even offer to do them with her, so she feels like it's something you guys are doing together and that you're in it with her too. Bottom line, have a conversation, cover all those topics, and just see where that goes. I hope for the best for both of you. Okay, next up, am I overreacting? Boyfriend fat-shamed a model. I was having a shower, and when I came out, I went to kiss my boyfriend. He quickly locked his phone, so I couldn't see what he was doing. When I asked, he said he was just scrolling. He later showed me a photo of a woman in a bikini who was on the larger side and asked me what I thought. I was confused and asked him why he's asking me and why he was looking at a picture like this of another woman. He then said how bad it is that obesity is being celebrated. Turns out he sent a screenshot of this photo to his group chat with his friends, along with another photo of an average-sized woman, with hair under her arms, and the only comment he made of both of the photos was LOL. I feel very shocked that my partner is body-shaming women, regardless of whether they're unknown models in a random ad or not. He says he's sorry and understands how wrong it was, but I'm just absolutely shocked that he's like this when he hasn't come across like this previously in the time I've known him. We're both late 20s to early 30s. Okay, yeah, that's definitely a jerk move. I don't understand why in this day and age we're still having pointless comments on other people's bodies and making the effort also to talk about it in your group chat. Never in my life have I ever sat around and saw a picture of anybody and thought, might as well send this to my group chat and get a good laugh. There's something wrong in your heart and mind there if you're fine with purposefully just mocking a person. Then I'm really confused why he would ask you what you think about it too. Like, is he waiting to see what response you would have? Because clearly he knows it's wrong. He's waiting to see if you're gonna laugh too, so that he can make fun with you and get you in on it. And I think that's ridiculously childish. You said you're both late 20s to early 30s. At that grown age too is crazy. Somebody commented and said, I bet if you read his group chat, you wouldn't be with him. Yeah, I'm concerned about that. What else is in that group chat that they've been talking about? And Op replied to that comment, said, that's what I'm worried about. Bad place to be. They aren't teenage boys, they're men with partners. Yeah, I would be really concerned too, because unfortunately and realistically in relationships you have to analyze things and notice these little red flags and think, how else could this affect in the future, because you never know what things could turn into. Somebody responded and said, I agree, and what if you have a baby or gain weight as you get older? Is he going to shame you or then worse, leave you? I would be worried about that too, especially if you ended up gaining weight from specifically having a child, because you're gonna have his child and then like, you see what I mean? Like, it could be a whole spiral. So while this could just be a one-off thing and it could just be men being childish bullies, it could also be more. And I think you do need to see like what's going on in that group chat and what else does he lean into like that, because if he's outwardly publicly making fun of that, then what's he gonna do if your body ever changes to the subject of his bullying? I just feel like there's more under the surface here, and you need to figure out what else there could be, because this could be something that's showing you more, especially at that age. I can't get over that. What a man-child. To end off this story, I'm going to read this comment that somebody left. It says, I think everyone is entitled to their own opinions. You can think your boyfriend is body shaming someone, and your boyfriend can instead think that being overweight shouldn't be celebrated. Both can be true because that's the lens, confirmation bias, or perspective each person sees things with. I think everyone wears certain masks, roles, or hats depending on who they're with. It's because they want to fit in and belong, which stems from a survival mechanism. That could be gossip, sharing dark humor, doing stupid things, drinking, and so on. It could also be playing board games, volunteering, fundraising, etc. on the other side of the spectrum. I think both genders can be immature, unkind, or whatever label you want to use no matter how old they are. At the same time, no one is perfect and everyone is complicated and multifaceted. That means your boyfriend can act one way towards you while acting in other different ways to his friend group and to strangers. It means while your boyfriend could be mature and kind most of the time, also having unkind, dumb, immature moments. Evolutionary viewpoint, being fat and overweight isn't attractive. It means a person isn't healthy and won't give healthy offspring. That is why some people are turned off by any characteristic and bringing in unhealthy offsprings, even if they accept and or don't body shame a person. In the end, you see what you want to see. Op replied and said, that is a really good point. Giving it a while to settle, this is the narrative I want to hope for. Our reaction and viewpoint is definitely out of fear. I like to try and treat everyone as nice as possible, but I would be lying if I was 100% consistent in that standard. Yes, it is also a good thing that I have a high standard for him too. He can only learn. I do believe people can grow and change. It happens with time, life, and experiences. I think that comment had a good point or explanation as well. I mean, it's pretty much like I said, it could go either way. There could be more under the surface, or it could just be a random one-off thing that really isn't that deep. Like you said, you're giving this situation a minute to settle. I guess so, yeah, just bring it up in more like chill, mature type of way and talk about it and try and be down to earth and heart to heart. Express your concerns and also express the parts that you do understand of that interaction from him and also the parts you don't understand, and just try and have a good conversation here, because he is the good person that you say he normally is outside of these situations. Then hopefully understand you, especially being around your 30s. That is an age where you shouldn't be mocking anybody's body regardless. Hopefully you can kind of find a middle ground here and figure out what was happening. Okay, our next story. Am I overreacting because he's okay with not texting me for a month? I, 24 female, have been talking to this guy, 24 male, for about a year now. I've been told from the get-go that he doesn't want to have a relationship. He lives with his parents and he studies. I agreed to it because I wasn't looking for anything and I didn't believe in long-distance relationships. He then would not text me for a while, and I took it as a sign of him losing interest. I kept on living my life, although it hurt. Eventually we rekindled, and it was going okay, but I could tell he wasn't as invested as me. Small signs that he wasn't obsessed with me would remind me of those times where he was absent, and well, it reopened the wounds. Last time he said that he'd be gone for 20 to 30 days for a vacation, and he wouldn't have time to have a proper conversation with me. He asked if it'd be better if we didn't talk at all. This, for me, was the last straw that he doesn't really care about me. I told him it does affect me, so little texts here and there was important to me, which he agreed, but it stuck with me that he felt so comfortable saying that we should go no contact for such a long time. He reassured me that he was into me and was very invested, however not as invested as I apparently was. This took me aback. Maybe I've developed feelings this stupid way, or maybe I need to step up and be cool and just have a normal fling as people usually do. I asked him for a distance for a month, to think about my life and stabilize myself. Any advice? Please be nice, I really am struggling. Okay, I feel like this is pretty clean-cut situation here. You stated in the second sentence that you were told from the get-go that he doesn't want a relationship. So I feel like that pretty much boils down all that's happened. He stated he didn't want a relationship, and I feel like you've been overly invested in this friendship of sorts to the point where you want it to be more like a relationship, and it's just not going to be. And, supposedly you understood that from the beginning. And it sounds like if you really are into this guy and you wanted him to do XYZ and he's just not because he's not involved in that way, I don't think this is the best situation for you to stay in. It's not that he's doing anything wrong. I mean, it sounds like he communicated and you stated that you understood that. It's just that, people's feelings don't always line up, and it sounds like this isn't a normal friendship either, because when you have to discuss how little or how often you're gonna communicate, I'm a little confused about that, because I've never had a situation where somebody has been like, hey, I'm not really gonna be able to talk. Should we just not talk at all? I'm kind of confused by that. But it sounds like this isn't the best friendship, quotation marks, for you to be staying in because you're more invested than you originally planned on being. And who knows, maybe in the future he'll be interested and maybe he'll reach back out and you can see what you think about whether it was the long distance relationship or if he moves back or whatever the situation was there. Maybe things will work out in the future, but right now it doesn't seem like it's going to be. It just doesn't seem like it's good for you. It's just kind of draining. And you asked him for a month of space so you could think about things. I mean, he literally just basically said he was wanting a month of space, so it seems very mismatched here. I'm also very confused because in the beginning you said that he didn't want a relationship, but then later you say small signs that he wasn't obsessed with me. I'm not sure what that means. I mean, it kind of made sense that he's not. I think you just need to let this go and move on. Yeah, this just doesn't sound like a good situation. There's not really a whole lot I can say about it. Other than that, it's not right for you, I don't think. You don't even have to necessarily, after this month of space that you're taking, I wouldn't necessarily even reach back out because chances are he's probably not going to reach out to you, so just leave it. I guess that's what people call ghosting nowadays, but in the sound of it, he doesn't really care if that happens, so just do what's best for you in terms of that. Don't let yourself continue to be attached. Move on and find somebody who will be interested, if that's what you're looking for. Okay, so for our next story, we have Am I Overreacting? I, 23 female, met a guy, 25 male, and we started talking. About 4 months into the relationship, he gets a call while he's asleep. I see the name and it's under my love with a bunch of emojis. Obviously, I get mad and I confront him about it. He makes up some crap story that I didn't believe him, but I moved on. Turns out it was his baby mama. Shocker. Maybe 2 weeks later, I'm sleeping and he goes through my phone, I guess, as a get back. He went through my Google Photos and found pictures of me with an ex maybe about 4 years ago. I have thousands of pictures in my Google Photos that I'm not going to go through just to delete pictures of other people. He gets mad and throws a whole fit saying I'm keeping pictures of my ex, and since I wanted to go through his phone, which I didn't, the screen just lit up with the caller ID, that he was going to go through my phone, and now it looks like I was hiding something. I broke up with him because obviously that was a red flag for me. So am I overreacting for immediately breaking it off instead of arguing or defending myself? I don't think you're overreacting at all. This is 2 red flags, one after the other. Why does he have somebody in his phone with my love and a bunch of emojis when you'd been together for 4 months? And why would he go through your phone when you didn't go through his? All you did was see the screen light up with caller ID. That's 2 red flags. I don't think you overreacted at all. He's saying that he was throwing a whole fit about it, and who in their right mind is going to be upset that you have thousands and thousands of photos in your Google Photos that pictures of an ex that existed 4 years ago on there? Like, why does that matter? It'd be different if you had pictures of your ex saved to an album and favorited and like you went through them all the time, but these were from years ago that you just haven't cleared out. I think that's a totally normal thing, and for him to flip out over that, trying to find evidence against you as if it were like a get back for you seeing what was on his screen, he was definitely trying to defend himself from something, so therefore he definitely had something to hide. I mean, I guess you could have had a conversation about it rather than just quickly breaking it off, but I don't really think that a conversation would have gotten you far because from these 2 situations back to back, it's pretty clear, I feel like, what's going on. So I don't think you overreacted. It sounds like you dodged a bullet, in my opinion. So I just hope that you can, quickly heal from that situation. And good thing it had only been about 4 months, so that hopefully you weren't too overly involved in this relationship, and that you can find the right man for you who won't have exes or whoever it was saved as my love in their phone, and that they'll be fully present for you. Okay, so for our last story, we have Am I Overreacting? My girlfriend jumped out of the shower to grab her phone. My fiance and I had argued about how she speaks to me. She's a little rude and argumentative. I've asked her on multiple occasions to tone it down as I don't feel there's need for it. She'll apologize from time to time, acknowledging it, but then expects to forgive and forget every time. Today, after a small argument, I got into the shower as she goes to pick up her son from her other son's father. She gets back, I get out of the shower, and she climbs in, leaving her phone on the bathroom counter. I've had my concerns, so I take her phone from the counter as she is in the shower, very obviously, so she notices, and as I walk away into the living room, she asks, "Where are you going with my phone?" I don't respond, and I walk away. Without a minute, she is out of the shower and walking towards me in the living room with a towel and wet hair to regain her phone. I don't hesitate to give it back. I should mention that she has always gone through my phone and has passwords to everything from my work, social media, to my bank accounts, and I've never blocked her from accessing anything in my phone whenever she pleases. I know this all seems to gain confirmation, but I'm truly searching for any reason to not feel the way I'm feeling as I am in love. Okay, first of all, I'm quite concerned that your girlfriend has access to your bank accounts and your passwords. Unless you were married, I don't think that's something that you should just have open. You said she has access to literally anything. Social media, okay, that's fine. I mean, what's she gonna do? Delete your Instagram account? Okay, that's fine. But the bank details, that is extremely concerning. Financial security is a huge deal. I feel like this is kind of similar to some stories we've seen already. It's the whole trust and having issues checking each other's phones thing. I feel like obviously you don't trust her entirely if you have to be inclined to check her phone, and that would maybe lead me to believe that she's shown you reasons why she can't be trusted. Maybe that's a part of the being rude and argumentative, like you said. Also, her jumping out of the shower to come and make sure you don't get on her phone. I don't understand that. Like, unless you have something to hide, there's no reason why you should be freaked out over people having your phone, especially if it's your partner who you supposedly trust. That's quite concerning. You definitely need to have a confrontational sort of conversation and figure out what the heck is going on. And maybe throw in, she has access to literally everything on your end. Why can't you also have the same for her? Have a mutual situation going on. But before you address that, I would change your banking information and passwords, because that is a dangerous game to play, especially if this conversation goes south. This is not good. I think all you can do right now, change your information and everything. Anything that you don't want her to possibly mess up if this goes south, change that, then address this situation. I hope the best for you, because this doesn't sound like a healthy or safe relationship. Sadly, there's not that much to break down from this story. Alright guys, that's about it for this episode. There will be another one sometime next month where I have a little collab coming up soon, which I think you guys will be excited about, because I know there's a lot of fans of a Reddit type of series, so looking forward to that collab, and I hope that you'll be around for that. Make sure you subscribe, have your notifications turned on so you don't miss it. See you next time.